Hello, book geekers. I have a special offer for you. That's right, available for a limited time, a free audio download. This exclusive conversation titled Following Your Passion with life-engineered author J.F. Dubois will give you inspiration and entertainment. Available for a limited time, JF tells us how he is making the transition from graphic designer to author. In a field where rejection is inevitable, JF shares his views on how he deals with it, what advice he would give anyone wishing to make a career change, and more. Janine Bay from Montreal, Quebec, Canada says, it is inspiring and entertaining, to the point and worth the listen. Go now, frédéricbaye.com, Following Your Passion with author J.F. Dubois, available for a limited time. Hello everyone, hello everyone. This is Frédéric Baye and I am talking to you from right here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. How are you today? It is a sunny Montreal, Quebec, Canada. The leaves are yellow, green, orange, all the types of colors. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful autumn day. Do you like autumn? I think autumn is a romantic day. I think autumn is a it's the season between the winter and the summer. I don't know, just something special about it. I'm not a huge winter guy, as many of you know, but I still like the beautiful landscape of fall. You are listening to the Book Geek Show, where books and only books rule. I am Frédéric Baye. I am a guy. I am a dude. I am a geek. I am most of all, I am a bookworm. I read all the time. If I don't read, then I feel naked. I feel like something is missing in my soul, in the deepest part of my soul. I am a writer. I am a host. I am a friend. I am a partner. I am an animal lover. That's right. This podcast is about fiction and nonfiction books that we love. Don't we love books, ladies and gentlemen? If you're listening to this show, you love books. Hey, I just want to say a quick shout out to all my Facebook followers, all my Twitter followers, all my subscribers, the millions and millions of people around the world at this moment that are listening to my voice. I want to thank you. Thank you so much for your time, and it'll be a fun show today, and we got some great news. Some great news will be coming in the next weeks, in the next months. I can't wait to share them with you. I cannot wait. All right, so books change lives, books entertain, books make us grow. Basically, it is a live podcast. It is free every time you download it on iTunes. Please go on iTunes, ladies and gentlemen. Go on iTunes right now. Subscribe to the show, and leave a review. It is listener supported, so you can also tell a friend. And for more podcasts, free gifts, I have a special gift on my website, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it in the beginning of this show. Articles. I love to blog. I love it. And I do it every single week just for you. All right, go to www.frédéricbaye.com. That's www.frédéricbaye.com. You can find me also on Twitter @byfred, or on Facebook. Simply type in my name, Frédéric Baye, and you will be set. People, you know that I always like to start off with something funny, and today I checked I checked my joke list, my joke bucket. I googled it basically, and I found this one about a Spanish captain. Listen to this. A Spanish captain was walking on his ship when a soldier rushes to him and exclaims, "An enemy ship is approaching us." The captain replies calmly, "Go get my red shirt." The soldier gets the shirt for the captain. The enemy ship comes in and heavy rounds of fire are exchanged. Finally, the Spaniards win. The soldier asks, "Congrats, sir. But why the red shirt?" The captain replies, "If you got injured, my blood shouldn't be seen as I didn't want my men to lose hope." Just then, another soldier runs up and says, "Sir, we just spotted another 20 enemy ships." The captain calmly replies, "Go bring my yellow pants." All right. That was good. That was a cute joke. I liked it. Very much. It's a cute joke that I can tell to you guys, and I don't know, it was funny. All right. Hey, last week I did my blog last week actually was with about my interview that I did with Arthur. Tears of the Dragon author Gan Ima. She's a good friend of mine. I interviewed her, and she also interviewed me, and she really asked me great questions. She's really, she's doing more than writing a book, than writing fiction books. She's also helping a lot of, writers get better by themselves and get better at their writing, basically. And she did an interview with me, and she asked me great questions about my career, my life, how did I make that career change, and just my path, basically, and my plans and my current struggles. I struggle like everybody else. I have challenges. I love challenges. I bite into those challenges. And it was a very in-depth interview, and this interview it was originally in French. I posted it on my website. It will be posted in English, if it's not already posted in English at this time when you're going to hear this show. Hey, go check it out if you want to know more a little bit about myself. She asks great philosophical questions, and she asks a lot deep questions. So don't miss out. Subscribe to frédéricbaye.com. If you need inspiration, motivation, entertainment, everything in between, go now, frédéricbaye.com, and subscribe. All right, next. Two things I'd like to talk about before we jump right into the interview. The first one has to do with my life. That's right. With my animals. You heard in the beginning of the show. I am an animal lover. I have 2 cats, at home. And basically I lost my cat this week. We lost a cat. We lost, maybe he's going to come back. Who knows? It's been 4 days. Who knows, please, I'd like for his name is Chai, basically. He's not Chinese. He's not a Chinese cat. He's just a regular orange cat, male, castrated. We just left him out, and he just walked out this week. He he never came back. And that was really weird. We searched him at like 1:00 in the morning. We went outside, took the car, we walked the streets. My girlfriend was, in her pajamas, and it was, I don't know, he just didn't come back. So for all you animal lovers out there, I know, I don't know if you ever felt the pain of losing an animal, but it's quite sad, actually. It's really the downside of my week. I love this cat. He is such a joy, playful, always playing, always playing, and doesn't try. I'm sure that he probably went somewhere, as curious as he is, as hard-headed as he can be. I'm sure he went somewhere and just got trapped or something, and then, whatever happened. Anyway, he's in our prayers, and we installed a little bed outside on the balcony, and who knows, maybe he's gonna come back one day. He'll be all right, like nothing happened while we almost grieved over him. So that was a big downside of my week. The other cat, trust me, she's not going out anytime soon. She is staying right here with us. All right. Hey, another thing that I watched this week, it's a documentary. I wanted to share this with you because that writer really did a lot for me, for the writing community, for not just the writing community, but for the world. And for all you lovers of books out there, I'm sure you've heard of him. His name is Wayne Dyer. He passed away actually a few months ago. And this week, I watched this documentary called The Shift on YouTube because because of his passing, they're putting it up on YouTube for free. It's an hour or it's over an hour documentary. Guys, Geekers, book Geekers. It's it's my favorite documentary of all time. He produced this in 2009 or 2011. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's 2009. Basically this thing really represents everything I believe in faith-wise, and I'm not here to talk about, preach. I don't want to preach here, but the reason I am doing what I'm doing right now, that I chose the path that I took, and that I am writing the books that I am writing, that will be available, ladies and gentlemen, on March 2016, is because of what he mentions, the importance to go from ambition to meaning in our lives. He talks about just finding our life's purpose. He really defines it, and he really put it into a beautiful, understandable movie where the language is easy. It's not it's not esoteric at all. Basically, it's a movie maker who wants to make a movie, but then gets uninspired and is actually interviewing Wayne Dyer. The concept is just wonderful. It is well said. It is easy to listen to. It is easy to follow. And this is what I love. It really appeals, in my opinion, to the mass people, to the masses. It's not complicated. And this is the kind of stuff I like. And this is the kind of stuff I want, I write. Check it out. It'll change your life. It will change your life. Everything that I'm doing today is basically based on a lot of his teachings. I mean, he wrote countless books that are considered breakthroughs in the field of personal growth. And so check it out. It'll open your mind to a writing genius in this world. And the title is The Shift by Wayne Dyer. And he also wrote a book with the same title. All right. And that brings us to this week's interview. Okay, Geekers, today we have an unusual guest for our kind of show. That's right. She's a very, very special person. She is a radio host. Her name is Elsie. Do you know Elsie? She hosts a gospel Christian-like radio. And her special quality is that, she hosts a show where she tells quotes basically, to uplifting quotes. And she's a very, very upbeat woman. I've always seen her upbeat. She's really, okay. So why a radio host? Why a radio host on a Book Geek show? I'm going to tell you why, because books are all about expression. Books are about entertainment as well as inspiration. And that's exactly what you're going to get today. Elsie had a peculiar path to her passion, and she will share her struggles with confidence. She will talk about books that changed her life, and she will tell us how she finally found her calling and more. It is an uplifting episode, ladies and gentlemen. You will fall in love with her. So without further ado, let's get to the interview. Hello. So we are here with Elsie Meklis.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Great. She is a radio host for Oasis, which is a gospel radio show on 1650 AM.
Yes.
And the website is ckzw.ca. Is that right?
Definitely. That's what it is.
All right. Hey, you know what? Today's conversation is all about communication. We love the media. The media has such a huge impact on our culture right now. And it's, it either can be a good thing or it can be really a bad thing, if you know what I'm saying. And I know the reason why I have you on this show is because I know that, you have a passion for communication. You have a passion for radio. You have a passion with people. So give us an overview of your background here. Where were you born? The environment you lived in? What's up? What's up?
First of all, to start, I was born in Haiti, and I lived in Haiti until the age of 5. And at the age of 5, I came to Montreal. So since then, I've been in Montreal. I've been in Canada. So I'm really Canadian. But I love my origin. You cannot forget your background. And at a young age as well, I moved to the suburb of Montreal up north with a town called Mascouche, which was really white.
Yeah.
I think we were the second Black family back then when we moved there. And at the end of the 70s, other Black folks came around. But at the beginning, it was a little bit difficult. I think that's why now I do love and I enjoy to live in a multicultural area, because been there, done that, I know what it is. But let me tell you, like the first 3 years were difficult, but after that, people were like my brothers and sisters.
Yeah. So basically, you're Canadian. What I hear is you're a white Canadian Black person.
Kind of.
Right. All right. So how did right now you're a radio host. How did the love of communication come to you?
I think I always loved communication, but when I was younger, I was really shy person, and I didn't believe in myself, especially because I think one of the thing is I saw the struggle when we were living in the suburb of Montreal when I was young as a young black child, and my mother trying to take her place, and it was difficult. And it's like people always have doubt about you, doubt about thinking, are you a good person, not a good person, are you capable of? So most of the time, I think they thought that we were not capable of. But and my mother, since she had a lot of hard time, the field that I like was difficult for her to think I could succeed. So I really love to communicate with my body, meaning I love to dance. When I was younger, that was my first passion, and everybody knew it because everywhere that I could hear music, I couldn't help myself. I had to dance. So as a child, I wanted to become a dancer, but since I didn't believe in me, I had, let's say it, I had low self-esteem in a way, and I was quite shy, but I could speak to people with my body because when I was dancing, people loving it, and I could see joy around me. So I'm that type of person. I like to see happiness. I like to see people enjoying what I'm doing, and I like to communicate great stuff to encourage people. And when I used to dance, that was amazing.
Okay, well, that's interesting. That's interesting right now because right now your love for communication is, that's what your love is. That's where your heart is. But
Yes.
back then, dancing was your passion.
Yes.
And you say that back then you didn't have confidence and so you didn't go for it.
No.
Now you're in communication. This is your thing, but you're going for it. What did you learn? Where was the shift? Because why.
The shift came it took a lot of time because, I'm not 22, right? Mm-hmm. It took quite a long time. The shift came, I was married, and I had my first daughter. And then I realized I'm a wife, I'm a mother. And I said to myself, what else? And something was missing. Despite I was very happy to be a mother, but as a personal goal that I had, I wanted to do something, and then I started to do voluntary works as a radio station, community radio station called CKUT, and that's when. But before that, what happened is, before at the end of my high school, I realized it's not worth it to be shy. It's not worth it to not being assertive. because people speak for you, people decide for you, and you remain in the back. And I didn't want to be in the back. I want to, it's like something wanted to explode inside of me and say, hey, I'm alive. I'm a human being. I do have stuff that I like, despite what you want for me. Let me be who I am.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so you're in high school. You realize that you're it's not worth it to be shy.
Exactly.
So what did you do after that to get out of that shyness?
What did I do?
To escape from that shyness.
To escape from that shyness, what did I do? Me and my girlfriends, we started to organize model shows, talented shows, dancing, singing, those kind of stuff. And we used to go to Le Chateau, asking for how do we call that? Commandit?
Sponsors?
Yes. We used to go around asking for sponsors and asking other young kids, do you want to be part of a group? We want to build that show. And even, you see, I'm short, I'm not tall, and I wasn't afraid. I went on the runway with bikini on and, proud. Hey, this is me. And I'm feeling good about being me. And I like my body. I like who I am. So that's how I started.
So basically you were a kind of entrepreneur back in the day.
Yeah, me and my girlfriends.
Yeah, no, but to go from to ask those guys, for sponsorship and I mean you're kind of, I mean, you were not building a business, you were building a show, but it's like building a business in a way.
Yeah, but I wasn't alone. I was with my girlfriend, and we boost each other. We said, yes, we can make it.
Okay, so now you're and what age were you back in that day?
I was like 16, 17.
Okay, so now you're okay, 16, 17. You're doing this. You didn't go into communications right away.
No, because that was still different. Because I loved my friend, and when I was talking about communication radios to my girlfriends, they thought that I want to be, I was thinking that I was maybe someone else, I want to act to be someone else, or I just wanted to do it for the glamour of it. And that was
so you wanted to dance just for the glamour of it, or you wanted to do what did you?
For the communications, I knew I want to go to the radio, TV field. And since, I couldn't dance, for me, that was too late. And around the age of 18, when I started to speak out about it to my girlfriend, but they thought that I just want to do my fresh, I just want to, could I say this? They thought I want to do it for the wrong reason.
Okay.
So and even if I was doing shows with my girlfriend, even if I started to speak out for myself, but I wanted the confirmation from my girlfriends. I want to have the validation, which I didn't have. So
hey, that's a very important point, because I think a lot of people do this now. A lot of, especially when you're young. You're not aware that you're not aware that you lack confidence. Mm-hmm. And I think your story is very interesting because you're listening to other people telling you, almost dictating where your life should go, right?
Exactly. And that's why there's two books that I really love, that makes a difference in my life. One book is from the author called, he's a psychiatrist. His name is Dr. Scott Peck.
I heard of it.
Yes, the book called Road Less Travel.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this is so good, because that helps you to grow spiritually. And even if back then, I'm a Christian, but back then when I read that book, I wasn't a Christian yet. Mm-hmm. But that make a difference, because in that book, what it's telling you is that life is not easy. Start with this mind, with that point of view. Life is not easy, but depending on, as soon that you realize you have that consciousness that life is not easy, then you can work around it and make it beautiful, because you have that power to shifting around.
Yep. Okay.
And I was like, yeah, that's good, because that's really what it is. And it shows you the lies that we've been having since we were born, the lies that society is giving us.
Mm-hmm. And I think, I think that's a very important thing you just said, because, I have a pet peeve about certain people. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I hear and I know you're a Christian and all that, but I hear, well, if God wants me to do it, I'll do it. But it's more like sometimes what I hear behind this is, well, I'm going to sit around and do nothing. And if God wants me to do something, I'll go out and do it.
Oh, that's
like,
wrong.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's important what you just said, is that life is not easy. Mm-hmm. You got to get out there and you have to do your thing.
Exactly.
You can pray all you want and all that. That's fine. That's great. But you have to take the action behind it.
Exactly. And in the meantime is you have to be careful about all the garbage we are receiving, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because when we start with the life is not easy, you realize it's in your mind. Depending on your mind is set, your thought, then that will define the way, the road that you will take. That's why I also loved the book of Joyce Meyers. Joyce Meyers, she has a book called Battlefield of the Mind.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah,
it's awesome. It's awesome. Like there's a word in the proverb which says, "For as he think in his heart, so is he." Mm-hmm. So you see, if it can,
wait, can you elaborate that for some of our listeners? What does that mean?
For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. Meaning it's be careful of what you are hearing, because depending what you have in your heart, so that's what you will be. If you don't have love in your heart, how could you love yourself and love others? If you don't trust that you can make it, mm-hmm. How could you do the extra step?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I hear you.
So that's
okay.
the power of the thoughts. People need to realize that, because very often people think they are powerless, but you are not powerless.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a powerful thing you just said. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so you're a young adult now.
Mm-hmm.
You read those books. Mm-hmm. You start to realize, hey, maybe there's more to life than what I. Okay, so what's going on? Where are communications at that point? You didn't go right away in communications, right?
Yes, exactly. And what I did, then I studied in the social field. I studied in the social field because I realized that was my strength, to encourage people, to be there for people. And as a child, so I couldn't speak up for myself, and I wanted to be the voice for the silence.
The voice for the silence. The voice for the silent ones, you mean?
Exactly.
The voice of the voiceless.
Yes, you got it. Exactly. That was one of my main goals, the reason why I went to in the social field. And as a caseworker, yes, I can say it's mission accompli. It's accomplished. Mm-hmm. And but even if I like that, I love that. This is my second passion, I can say, or my, I'm kind of between communication and social field. I really love to help people. That's me. I love to be there for people. I love to encourage people. I love to say to people, no, realize this is a lie you just hear. That's not who you are. You're a wonderful person, beautiful creature. You can make it. No, everybody is different. And that's the beauty of life, you know? Don't try to be somebody else. Just try to be you and be honest about who you are. And that's okay. We are flaws. We have flaws and we have strength, but that's what makes us beautiful. But you have to be aware of that. So I like to be there for people. So I studied in the social field. But in meanwhile, I realized when you are working, when you love your passion, you cannot hide your passion.
Yep.
So I was working with kids. I was working as how do you call that? Prevention of assault in school.
Prevention of assault.
Yes.
So basically, you were helping kids to
empower the kids.
Yeah. Okay. So they don't get what? So they don't get beaten, hurt by their parents or stuff like that.
Against intimidation, all that thing.
Okay.
You don't want them to be victims, even if they've been victim once, but they don't have to remain victims all their lives. I get it. But even before that, so I did customer service. I did a bunch of stuff. I even work in the travel field as well. But when I was working, I realized, I said, this is a job. Mm-hmm. I like my job, but this is not it. It's not enough. So I started to do voluntary works for a community, for a TV show called, how do you call that? Noir de Monde. Noir de Monde, that was on CH or CGNT now.
Okay.
And Noir de Monde. So I was the one who was going around to, I was doing interview with people back then I was not Christian. Okay. So I was going to the club, to the theater. I was meeting all kind of people. So that was cool. I did that for a couple of years. So that was my first really big step in the communication. So I did that for like 5 years.
All right, this is Frédéric B, and you're all listening to Inside BA's Head, real people with real challenges teaching us real lessons. You only hear stuff like this on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. All our podcasts are archived on iTunes and FrédéricBaye.com. The reason we archive them is because repetition is how we learn best. If you'd like to be on the show, you can go to FrédéricBaye.com and click on the contact page. And we are here with Elsie Meklis.
Yes,
all right?
Yes, exactly.
She's a radio host for Oasis, which is a gospel radio show on 1650 AM. And their website is ckzw.ca. Mm-hmm. Hey, okay, so you mentioned earlier about the breakthrough was when you got divorced. I'm not, am I right?
Well, the breakthrough definitely arrived when I was divorced because, that's the thing. I told you, this is a little bit complicated with me. I always like to have validation. Huh? Mm-hmm. So my
we all do, I think, but maybe certain people need more than others, but I think we all need validation.
And in the communication fields, definitely. My ex-husband, he was not into it with me, So as soon that
when you mentioned he was not into it, what does that mean?
That he didn't believe in that. He didn't want me to go into that field. He didn't want me to have anything to do with communications. So Definitely, of course, while I was with him, I didn't aim to it, but as soon that I got separated and divorced, I was definitely around that,
and I think that really speaks to me because I realize, I'm going to take my mother, for example, when she was working and, I was growing up, she was always afraid of the future. You need to work to get money. Otherwise, to make money, because otherwise your children don't eat, right? So you need to provide for them, blah, blah, blah. So when I would say I wanted to do something, let's say, wrestle, write a book, whatever, she always had a fear-based reaction, of uncertainty. What are you going to do if this happens, this happens, this happens?
Yes.
But now that I'm telling you, the minute that she retired, she completely changed. And now she's really like, just go for it. Just go for your dream. Like, don't bother all that. And I think it seems that it was the same thing for you.
Yes.
Because you were in a relationship and, stay secure. You know what I mean? You have to remain secure, and then boom.
I have to remain secure. And in the same time, I wanted to please my husband as well. So I did try, like I told you, when my daughter was 1 year old, I was still married. So I did try with CKUT within a Asian show, but that didn't last because my husband didn't want me to continue, and he didn't like it at all. So, but as soon that we separated and end up divorced, then I said, "Hey, Elsie, what do you like? What do you want to do?" And I said, "Okay, let's try." And that's it. And the door opened. When you want something, I do believe that. When you really want something, the door open. Maybe not the way that you would like it to be open, but definitely it will. I wanted to work in the travel field. I did a certificate in Concordia, and the door was actually open. I did find a job. I want to work at youth protection. The door did open. It didn't open at the first time that I'd applied to it, but eventually it did because I remained focused and I did the effort,
Yep. And okay, so maybe I'm going to put you on the spot here, but okay. Give us, because a lot of people are afraid to make that move, in the unknown, try new things. Mm-hmm. What was the main thing that tested your faith as you were going for what or you were searching for what you really wanted to do?
But that tested my faith.
Yeah. Where you really took a risk.
Where did I really took a risk? I think that I took a risk by hosting a Christian radio show.
How so? Why was it a risk?
You know why it wasn't a risk? Why it was a risk? Because that's not the popular road. It's not the popular road. When you go against what the majority of people likes. So that is a risk because people gonna see you as a Christian. I'm confirming my faith, my belief, my values, and we don't have all the same values. And a lot of people, because I did study in ProMedia, I did that not too long ago in 2013.
Okay.
So I was a certain age already. And that was a risk because a lot of people told me, say, Elsie, you won't make it. Look how old you are. You will be with kids who are actually 18, 19, 20 and who are really starving for success. Mm-hmm. Who are, they will be different. And I had to shut down those people.
Yeah.
I had to shut down those voices. And I said, no, listen. That's a private school. It's like about 6 months program. I said, no, despite whatever people say, I'm going to try. I will go for it because I need to have that minimum base at least to be a radio host, a TV host, or, So yeah. I wanted that training because you need to go to school. It's not always easy to get to the program and to have the bachelor degree in communication, whatever. But you need to do an extra step to be better in your field, So, but people were discouraging me. And in the same time, I was working full time. But I still work full time. But it wasn't easy because school started at 6:30 and you might finish at 11:30, midnight. And by the time you get home and in the morning, you have to go back to work, And yep. People will say, hey, and I had a teenager and a young adult at home. So people would say, Elsie, I don't know. But you know what? That was one of my best life experience.
A lot of people are, okay, you went to school. A lot of people wouldn't go to school. They wouldn't take those risks. They wouldn't take those steps.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, sometimes
and
people
that
say,
costs money as well, So what if you spend $5,000-$6,000 and then you do not find any job? Mm-hmm. But it's still worth it. This life experience, it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so what I was going to say is, a lot of people wouldn't take those steps, especially, for the reasons that you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Because of the age, the competition.
One thing I realized, fear is always there. There's always fear. So, what allowed you to,
overcome?
Yeah. To keep, stay focused. Overcome that stuff.
What allowed me to remain focused and overcome that? It's because one is my faith in God. Because I said, God, you know me. It's been such a long time since I want to live that dream. Every year I find an excuses. But I said, this time I feel this is the time.
What were the excuses?
There was no more excuses. But back then, my kids, money, I don't have money. I don't have this. Or I won't make it. And, and I believe what other people says about me. Instead of believing what I feel, what was firing up inside of me,
Okay, so basically your faith allowed you to overcome this.
Yes.
Knowing that you were doing this for the right reasons. You mentioned earlier how before you had that kind of guilt feeling because other people were saying that you were doing this just for the glamour, the fame, blah, 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 blah.
Wrong reason, yes.
And you didn't go for it. Now you're kind of starting to play with it a little bit. You're more into it. Okay. So do you still have that voice in your head, that guilt voice? Hey, you're just an egocentric.
No, definitely not, because I know who I am now. I know my identity, and my identity is in Christ, and I know what the Bible.
No, but back then, as you were taking those steps.
No, as I was taking those steps little by little, I was a little bit confused. I was hearing half and half. That was half and half.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. That was half and half. It's a process. It's a process. It takes a long time to get rid of all the thoughts, all the things that the people says regarding you, because for a long time you did accept it. So it definitely will take a long time as well to let it go completely.
Yeah, I get it. And okay, so now you're starting to play with it. You're still, and we all have confidence issues. Where'd you go from there? Give us the process from, okay, now, I'm taking those steps to, okay, I'm doing this.
I'm still struggling once in a while, because sometimes I do see stuff going on and I say, should I apply to this? But what I do when I see something which is interesting, I'm wondering if I should apply or not. Then I go to meditation and see, Elsie, what exactly do you want to do? What exactly is your goal? What exactly is your purpose? Mm-hmm. When you know your purpose, then you know the answer.
What kind of meditation do you do?
My meditation is into prayer. Laying down. What I do as well, I do put music, like instrumental music, and I lay down. I do not answer the phone, and I remain in peace.
Okay, what did you learn? Now that you're really doing it, what did you learn most about yourself with this journey?
What did I learn? It's worth it to fight for your dreams. it's worth it to fight for your dreams, because when you're doing something that you like, it doesn't matter if the amount of effort you put into it. It's like vitamin.
Vitamins.
Yeah, that's what it is. Even if you put a lot of hours into it, but it's always regenerated something, a huge boost, because this is your passion. So it's worth it to fight for your dreams. It's worth it to stand up. And if someone realizes that they have low self-esteem or lack of confidence, whatever it is, ask yourself a question. Why do you have a lack of confidence? And then write them down and see if you will see it's not worth it. And you need to realize everybody has the right to be who they are. There's a space for everybody.
To embrace who they are, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Frédéric Bier, and you are listening to Inside BA's Head, real people, real challenges, real lessons. All our podcasts are archived on iTunes and FrédéricBier.com. The reason why we archive them is because repetition is how we learn best. We are here with Elsie Meklis. She's a radio host for Oasis, a gospel radio show on 1650 AM. Their website is ckzw.ca.
Yeah.
You just mentioned something very important. I think one of the major questions most people have nowadays, in this day and age anyway, is what is my life's purpose? And when someone asks me, how do you find your life's purpose? I never know what to answer. What would be the short answer for you? If someone like your daughter was going to come to you and ask you, how do I find my life's purpose? What would you say to her?
Well, me, what I realized to see what was my life purpose, it's by looking at what I went through in life and what are my strengths. And when I realized my strength and what I like to do, what I'm passionate about, and I'm like, oh gosh, God wants me to be always in contact with people, to be a sunshine for people, to encourage them.
But a lot of people don't know what they're passionate about.
Well, they have to go a little bit deeper in their inner person, because if you take the time, example, I'm just going to give you a quick example. I have my sister. My sister, she's always say, Elsie, you're so lucky because you know what you like. You're passionate about this. You're passionate about that. You like to go out and do this, do that. I'm like, okay. I said, what about you? She said, I don't like nothing. And on top of it, she said, you have faith. I don't have faith. I said, okay. We're different level there. And then, but my sister, she loves to organize activities for people. Like if you say, oh, I'm going to do a party, I need to invite people. She said, oh, let me help you. Let's go. We're going to shop there. No. That's like like an event coordinator. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at her and I said, you know what, girl? I said, I don't know why you keep saying you don't have any passion. Because since you're young adult, let's put it this way, I do see every time we want to do an event, you are so quick to help out and to be the leader, to say, hey, we can go to that store. Let's put that theme on. We're going to do it asking everybody to put white or everybody to put yellow, whatever it is, Mm-hmm. I said, you are really into events. You like that, to organize stuff. So that is your passion. But she couldn't say it by herself. And when I was talking to her, and then she said, yeah, you're right. I love doing that. It's a pleasure for me. And she kept buying a bunch of magazines and see what's all the new thing, how to do a better event, how to do a better party, blah, blah. I said, this is your stuff. Mm-hmm. But you need to take time. You need to step back and look at your life, what you've been doing.
And is she doing it now? Like, is she taking the steps towards that now?
Yeah, she took a little step. But she kept doing it. She's been doing it all the time. She just didn't know it.
But is she? But right now, she's not. Her job is not that. Is
No,
it?
she's a nurse. She's working as a nurse, but in the meanwhile, she's helping people to do, to organize party and cooking, all that stuff.
Okay. If you could give one advice to a younger you, what would it be?
A younger me?
Let's say you're back, 15 years old.
Yes.
You're trying to find who you are, or let's say your daughter is 15. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway.
What I'm saying to my daughters, I have 2 young adults now, and what I said to my daughters, I said, what do you like? That's why, I don't give them pressure about which field to study in. I said, make sure you study something that you love and do not listen to people, because people will tell you, oh, this was really difficult. There's not too much opening. Oh, this field, do you think you're going to have the grade for it, the average? Oh, no, c'est la cote R, là? And
you mean the
for university, for the program.
Yeah. So it's like a grade.
Yeah, it's an average that you're supposed to have to end up in that program.
Yeah.
And I said to my kids, don't worry about those people. Let them talk. Don't take it for yourself. Keep going. Even if you apply to one university or one college, they don't open the door, there's other ones. And I said to my kids, if you have to leave Quebec, do so, but focus on your dream. Mm-hmm. If you have to go to Cuba to study and then come back, do so.
Okay, that's very interesting.
I want them to make focus. I want them to have that dream and to nourish that dream and keep on going.
Okay.
Don't let nobody stop you.
Mm-hmm. And okay, a question that I know I struggled with, and a question that I know a lot of 19-year-old-ish, 20-year-old, when it's time to make those career decisions, mm-hmm. when you get out of high school, when you get out of, and now it's time to make those decisions, mm-hmm. School or passion. Certain parents, they say you have to have a degree. You have to have a degree. It's job security. It is important, and it'll determine. You always will have something to fall back on. Certain children, they want to be singers, or they want to be radio hosts, or they want to be artists. What would you say to your daughter if she said, I'm not sure I want to go to college. I want to do, I love, I don't know, dancing
like you did? That is so funny, because one of my daughters, she's actually finishing her bachelor degree now. And the other one, she gave up high school. She's trying to complete it. The 2 last courses she has for high school, and it's okay because they are not the same. And one is really, she's into the political and lawyer stuff, and the other one, she's into makeup artist design, and this is fine. They are 2 different persons. I'm not gonna discourage them. One, it's easy. She's an A student. The other one has more difficulties. Does that make the other one better than the other one? Of course not. Of course not. That's not your value.
Would you advise them to go for a degree first and then go to the passion?
As a parent, you know what it is. My first thought, when you're raising your kids, you have dreams. And you want your kids to have a degree, whatever it is, but in the field that they want to. I said to my daughter, if you want to go for a PhD, go for it. Why not? Mm-hmm. But if you don't want to go for PhD or bachelor degree, don't. But the thing is, you can be an entrepreneur. You can have your own business and do stuff. And it's not because you don't have a bachelor degree that you won't be successful. The thing is, you need to be passionate about what you do.
Mm-hmm. I wish there were more parents who thought this way, but like you did, like you do. I think it's important. I think what you just said is just important. Passion is everything.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care what you study in. Back then I used to struggle with that question. I went to see, I saw 3 career orienters back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
They all told me the same thing. They said, if you're going to go to school and study, you better make sure that you're going to work in the field after that, because they said, if you knew the number of people who come to see us, who study, they spend 3 years, 5 years, 7 years studying, and then they work and they say they hate what they do. And, you're not going to go back and start another degree after that.
Why not?
I mean, it's harder. No. You can do it, but it's like if you've studied for 5 years
exactly.
and you realize, man, I don't love this. Or you realize you did it for the wrong reasons. It's harder to go back. You have to.
Definitely, that's true. I can tell you, I'm trying to go back to university and do stuff, and it's this thing going on. It's not easy.
Yeah, but they said the same thing you just said. You have the energy now, you have the passion now. You better go for what you want, because the energy and passion might not be there 5 years from now.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so tell us, what are your plans for the future? Now that you're doing your passion, you're doing what are your plans?
My plans for the future, honestly, I'm doing. I'm a Christian. Radio host for a Christian show and Oasis, but eventually I would like to get into TV. I would like to host a show to host a TV show, and to encourage people, and also, why not to have like a production business as well? And
a production of what? For what kind
media
of production?
stuff.
Okay.
And also, one thing is, I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe a foundation in order to be able to help other people in my country here, Canada, Montreal area, and also in the country I was born.
If you could help them in one thing, what would it be?
I want to help them to.
In your country, I mean, like people like in the Caribbean and, in Haiti.
It's to empower them. I want to work with the families, young mothers, kids, and young fathers, to empower them and to give them tools for life education, and also tools regarding help them to have not especially degree in a bachelor degree, but I mean like to give them education, life education, and also school education, Yeah. To be able to manage and to be dependent.
Independent, you mean, right?
Yes. Thank you. Yes, that's what it is.
And all right, so where can we find you?
So where we can find me, definitely, I do have a Facebook page where it's called Oasis CKZW.
How do you spell Oasis?
It's OASIS.
Okay.
CKZ. So if you put on Facebook Oasis CKZW, you'll find me. Émission Oasis. Émission Oasis CKZW, and we also have a page called Émission Oasis without the CKZW.
Okay, émission for our English listeners. Émission is show.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
and émission spells EMISSION.
Exactly.
Right. All right.
And also, if someone wants to write us through email.
Okay.
To email, it's émissionoasis@yahoo.ca.
Okay, cool. émissionoasis@yahoo.ca.
Exactly.
And you guys are mostly about Christians and mostly about...
to encourage people, to help people to build a healthy life. We do have people they come to talk about their marriage, someone who's been married for 30 years. How did you make it? How did you go through marriage for 30 years? So we need to people to know, like I told you, the psychiatrist, Dr. Scott Peck says, Life is not easy. So marriage is not easy either. So how do you remain focused? How can you celebrate 30 years, 50 years of marriage? So this is wonderful. And we do have business people, the entrepreneur, Christian entrepreneur comes. We let people know as well that to be a Christian is wonderful. It's not flat, it's not boring like a lot of people might think. We are alive,
It's not the old Catholic church. Nothing against Catholic, right? But it's not my, the church. When you go to church, it's
exactly it's totally different. And we celebrate life every single Saturday shows, and we talk about concert, design show, Christian designers, and we talk about everything.
Awesome.
We just want to encourage people to do their best in their life and to be there for other people, because life is not only about you, it's about you and others, to give to others as well, as much as you can receive, but you can give as well, and it's beautiful to give.
Wow. Well, that's a lot of wisdom for 45 minutes. Yeah, that's really, really inspirational. That was insightful. It's, a lot of people would need to hear that.
Oh, I'm glad.
And what, Elsie? Thank you so much
It's been a
for
pleasure.
showing up. Thank you for doing this. And, you know what? Good luck. Good luck in your, I think, you seem to have acquired a lot of wisdom. So good luck in your future endeavors.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Frederick.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. That's all for today. Thank you for listening, and I hope you found it helpful. If you want to listen to more episodes, you can visit fredericbai.com/podcast. If you'd like to connect, you can also tweet me at byfred, or you can find me on Facebook at Frederic Bai Writer. And remember, live with purpose, passion, and love.